The books on the high school football season for 2017, and now we can talk about the final poll of the year. Here to do that from GameTime, Connecticut, is Sean Patrick Bowley. This has been fun all year long having you in, and I know we're going to have you in again to talk about the All-State team, the New Haven Register All-State team. But here we go. It was, you have 4 different state champions, 1 undefeated team, yet which team takes the #1 spot in the poll?
I mean, were you talking, was there heavy talk among these 4, or was it a foregone conclusion?
Well, it was kind of interesting because a lot of the media guys, and you guys might have been some of them, a lot of you guys talked to me and they asked me before the game. I got a lot of phone calls and a lot of asks at games whether this, if everything broke the way it should have, if St. Joe beat Ansonia, if Hand beat Massac, and if Darien won, that was Darien already won actually. What was the right thing to do? And I took a lot of opinions, and there were a lot of voters in the media polls who were not happy with the way the Darien situation played out. It's kind of going beyond the kids at this point. What they did was bad. We kind of know that. What the other side did was bad. The whole situation was bad. But this defiant tone that it was us against them, we battled back through adversity, the whole smear really left a lot of bad taste in everyone's mouth, myself included. I don't buy it. I don't believe it. I think that it was just kind of not a really good display whatsoever. So a lot of guys were really kind of put off by that, and they're like, does this team even belong in the #1 spot? I mean, the whole thing is they're just blaming everybody else, and they're giving a lot of they're kind of giving us static. I mean, not that they take that personally, but they're giving us static about something that was self-inflicted. So this whole us against them world thing was crazy. But at the end of the day, they all decided that, well, most of them decided that Darien would be the #1 team in the state. They looked at what happened on the field, and they said this team was impressive. They were missing players. They even missed players during the semifinals, and they still won the state championship over an undefeated Greenwich team. And it was too much to say, you know what, we're going to protest or something. There were a few voters who couldn't stomach it, went elsewhere, maybe Hand or maybe Killingly. But I went Darien. And I held my nose when I did it too, because they were the best team in the state this year, regardless of who wasn't playing, and they proved that.
Well, and let's take a look at some of the highlights from their game last Saturday, the victory over Greenwich in crazy conditions. I mean, it started off with kind of a light snow. Sean, you were on the sidelines there. The snow just kept falling, and all of these thoughts that you can't throw the ball in this kind of weather. And Darien just snubbed its nose at that and said, "Oh yes, we can," and did. Yeah. And that 29, Tim Herget made some unbelievable catches. Jack Joyce, who was back under center at quarterback, made this great run. Yep. I mean, they just were able to put it all together. And Greenwich made some mistakes, a young team. Yep. But Darien fought hard to win this game.
Yeah, they absolutely did, and this is really what impressed me. Neither rain nor sleet nor snow apparently could stop this group. And with Tyler Herget.
Well, both teams played.
Right.
Really
they both
tremendous.
Play great. Yeah. Tyler Herget really that's Darien's MO. They go up big go up a little bit on offense and they turn it over to the defense. Yeah. Tyler Herget made outstanding catch after catch, and Joyce was great. He had the run, he threw the touchdown. It was a really nice job. Greenwich, they fought back, but they could not crack that defense. The front 7 of Darien, led by Mike Neary, was tremendous. And they've been tremendous all year. Connor Fay was great. Yes. It was a dominant effort. Connor Tangen, just great team effort by Darien. You cannot deny that they were the best team in the state this year, despite that one loss. And that's all
so they're #1, and #2, St. Joe's, and for a loss to Darien in the middle of the season, a thumping. Then had they won that game, they would have been #1, and St. Joe's with
what a comeback.
two tremendous comebacks all season long throughout the season.
Show us some of these highlights over Ansonia, the St. Joe's, because they were down. What was it, 28-7 in this game, and they managed to come back and win it. What was it, 42-36?
Yes,
great play by Phil Passmeg there to really get it moving. They were down big. They were shooting themselves in the foot, as they were saying. And it was 28-7, and then David Summers. It was just like they just kept saying, "Remember the Ridgefield game. Remember the Ridgefield game. Remember the Ridgefield game." And sure enough, they knew they could do it. They had the confidence. I mean, if it wasn't for an outstanding effort by Ansonia and Markel Dobbs, who was lights out, especially in that fourth quarter. I mean, he had 3 touchdown runs, but at the end of the day, it was St. Joe's. There's Sheridan with a touchdown to put them back off. Seesaw game, very reminiscent of the 2010 game.
Yeah. So they're number 2. Hand was a team that just got better and better. Lost its season opener and then ran the rest of the table. And they were an outstanding team.
11 straight wins. Their defense, I might have even underrated them. I was talking them up all year. Tremendous job against Masick. That offense with Hirsch and Roberge was great, but they shut them down. They forced 4 turnovers. They took the game. They were right out of that game completely by halftime. I was there. I left. I went to Cheshire, and I got there in time to see the St. Joseph come back. But a dominant performance. Great job by Dave Mastriani in leading that team back.
Yeah, he says he might retire now.
Yeah.
Well, go out with a
first
strong.
job.
Finish strong.
Yeah.
And talk about finishing strong. Killingly, the only team, and they're my number 1, not for what Darien did or didn't do, but for what they did and how difficult it is, no matter what class, to go undefeated. And they're the only team in the state to do it. And I also saw something, the only team ever, lone undefeated team in the poll to not be number 1 at the end of the season.
Right. Now, that's true.
And they went 13-0 and were
tremendous year. Spencer Lockwood, the Gatorade State Player of the Year. And he showed it. I mean, it was a little sketchy there early against Barlow. Barlow had him on the ropes a little bit in the first quarter.
Could have gone up 21-7 early in the second quarter, touchdown.
Right after the block.
Back.
Wait, it was a block punt or something?
Well, no, after they had that happened afterward, but they had a chop block called a touchdown back.
Right. Good effort by Barlow, but this team was on a team of destiny. Lockwood, again, a tremendous player. And, they completed what no other school in Killingly history was. First undefeated since 1953. But they wanted to be number 1. It's never happened that if you're finished undefeated, you were going to be number 1. Usually, times have kind of changed. The FCX has been so good for so long. There's so many great teams down there. And
we
the
see
SEC.
more as well.
Right. You know what? A lot of voters are just, they tip your cap. They did an amazing job. I had them at 5 personally. That's pretty worthy to me, and they should just celebrate their season. I mean, tremendous job.
Real quickly, let's check out the bottom 5, the 6 through 10 in the final poll. Ansonia drops to 6. I had voted him probably in the top 3 all year. Masick, New Canaan, West Haven, and Middletown, which had come so strong, and then just had that 1 loss. But Sean, great job with the poll all year. Now you get to work on the All-State, the New Haven Register All-State team, the oldest All-State team in the country for high schools.
And we'll unveil it here.
We'll have it here. So thank you so much for coming in, Sean. You've been we look forward to it every week.
I'm going to bed now and skiing. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
It's our
well
pleasure.
done.